Today marks the 16th anniversary of the September 11 terrorist attacks that claimed the lives of 3,000 Americans in New York City, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. Muslim terrorists flew airplanes into the World Trade Center, an open field in Shanksville, and the Pentagon. President Trump delivered a heartfelt speech in front of the Pentagon where he honored those that lost their lives that day, and those that sacrificed theirs by enlisting to fight Islamic terrorism. After giving a moving speech, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump returned back to D.C. only to discover that the White House was on lockdown, and who the Secret Service had to kick out. On days like today, there is a reason that law enforcement officials and the Secret Service have to be on high alert, and the reason is simple. There are tons of hateful people in the world today that would love to harm America on one of its most sober days. Every year on September 11 for the past 16 years, the names of those that died are read aloud and moments of silence are held. It is a day of reflection as we honor those that had their lives taken away from them in the name of radical Islam. And, every year the American people are on high alert wondering if terrorists will strike our country again. So, when the Secret Service sprung to action when an incident occurred on the north side of the White House property, everyone wondered if this was the year tragedy would strike. Shortly after President Trump and Melania returned from giving a speech at the Pentagon, the White House was placed on lockdown. The Secret Service reported that there was a disturbance on the White House North Lawn and they immediately sprung into action. The Secret Service then ordered all the media and their crews off the White House lawn in order to investigate the disturbance. The Hill reported. The White House went into lockdown on Monday after a notebook and a sign were thrown over the fence along Pennsylvania Avenue. The Secret Service said it has a man in custody. Incident cleared, male subject arrested and taken to a D.C. police stepped. Items thrown were a sign and a notebook. Both were deemed non-hazardous, the Secret Service said. NBC News' Peter Alexander reported earlier that a yoga mat and a sign were the items tossed over the fence, but the Secret Service later clarified that the other object was a notebook. The White House going on lockdown is not uncommon and in fact seemingly occur quite often. Just a few weeks ago the Secret Service investigated a suspicious package that was left near the White House. Freedom Daily reported. The president and his crew had only been in the air for minutes when down on the ground the Secret Service was rushing everyone to safety. The West Wing of the White House has been under construction for more than 2 weeks and perhaps related to that was, or just coincidental timing, was what authorities found mysteriously left behind. WPRI reports. The Secret Service and Washington police are investigating a package left near a White House fence. The Secret Service stated on Twitter Tuesday that, with local law enforcement, they were responding to an unattended package near the north fence of the White House complex. The streets surrounding the White House, specifically, Pennsylvania Avenue and the area of Lafayette Park were also closed down to pedestrians, due to law enforcement activity, the Secret Service alerted on their Twitter page. Although the package was cleared and the premises deemed safe within about 30 minutes, the threat is still far from over. This wasn't the first time that a suspicious package was found left behind at the north fence and probably won't be the last. It's not a coincidence that packages are routinely left there, but perhaps suggests something bigger at play here. Also strange is that the last 2 times mysterious packages have been found in this same exact spot, it's been hours within the time that the Trumps have returned home from a publicized trip. Before today, the last time this same incident occurred, the President and First Lady had just come back from a controversial trip to the G20 summit. It makes you wonder why people think this is the appropriate way to act around the White House. It is one thing to peacefully protest and air your grievances, but to attempt to cause panic is another. Today is a day that law enforcement is on high alert, and for these people to try to take away from it is wrong on so many levels. Hopefully, these so-called pranksters will have learned a lesson and will steer clear of the White House and the President from now on.